This is Jonathan Agger, fifth Pro Boxing Fans, joined again by Dmitry Salita and Ben Shalom. Ben, first of all, how are you doing?
Very well, how are you?
Yep, good. Dmitry, anything changed?
We're doing great. We just had a fantastic press conference. We really wanted a chance to go at it, but we didn't have a chance. We'll be able to do it now.
Ben, you described this as the biggest female fight of all time. The same tag was labelled for Taylor Serrano. Why do you think this is the biggest fight of all time?
First of all, I think that fight was brilliant. The promotion was incredible in New York, and it's actually inspiring to see some of the things that were achieved there. I think the reason why this fight sticks out to me as a boxing fan is the rivalry, the styles, the history, the fact that it's in the middleweight division, which is almost like the heavyweight division of women's boxing. And UK versus US, this is genuine, this is 2012, this is Claressa Shields' one ever loss. And for me, Claressa Shields is the biggest star in women's boxing. I know she might not be the most popular, but she's definitely the most well known, and it's a massive, massive fight with Savannah. And I think because of the story, it's something we've not seen before in women's boxing. We've not seen the Bens, the Eubanks, the Muhammad Alis, the Joe Frasers, the Froch, the Groves, the Khans, the Brooks. It's just not had that depth. It's not had those rivals. I think this is the first one, and that's why I think it's groundbreaking.
Dmitry said to me earlier that this fight they tried to make this fight a few times, but it's been made now. Why do you think it's been possible to make now?
Because it's got the right people involved, all wanting the best for their fighters, all wanting the biggest fight possible for their fighters. And that's what it takes when promoters can work together. Look at this with myself and Dmitry and Mick Hennessy, and then the chief support with Matchroom and Top Rank. Is that not a lesson perhaps how other fights can be made? I think it's incredible.
Dmitry, from your end, what did you see as the factors why this fight got made compared to other times? Like Ben said, it is important for promoters to work together, and our job is to do our job, to make the best job for our fighters. Clarissa has been begging for this fight for many years, and we've tried to make the fight with Savannah repeatedly. And then we saw an opportunity when she teamed up with Sky and Boxer and reached out. There was some conversation about the fight taking place in the United States. Savannah did not want to come to the United States, and Clarissa said, "You know what? I believe in who I am. I am the greatest women fighter of all time. We're gonna go and we're gonna do it in the UK." And I want to say that working with Ben, working with the Boxer team and Sky has been really incredible, and getting a tremendous amount of exposure and respect. And overall, it's been very professional and really a great process. Talking about the Taylor and Serrano fight, it was a great fight, and why it was great for women's boxing is that it showed that women's boxing fights can be exciting and can be big and can capture the imagination of boxing fans. But they're wonderful fighters and wonderful people, and I have the most respect for them. But neither one of those fighters are Claressa Shields, and Clarissa is the straw that stirs this drink of this mega fight of women's boxing. And again, she's fighting Savannah Marshall, who's an undefeated, very good fighter. Both of them at the peaks of their career, both young, as you saw today, both not shy about their chances to win, and both from different countries, different cultures. Really, as Ben said before, the yin and the yang, it's kind of all different energies coming together to make this really incredible event. And I believe that this event is going to transcend sports. It's going to be bigger than boxing. It's going to be bigger than sports. It's going to be a true cultural event. And with the support of Sky and all the great job that they're doing here on the ground with Boxer, it's only going to get better and bigger with time. And by the time September 10th is going to come, I really believe that people that have tickets, people that are from London and from this area, it's going to be a collector's item. So I'm going to buy a ticket for myself just to have it, so that I know that I have it. But it's really going to be a collector's item. Because it's one of the most significant sporting events of our time.
When I asked Dmitry earlier about whether there's going to be a rematch clause, he said it depends on the interest of the fight. Is that pretty much what it is?
I think it depends on what happens in the fight. I think there would have to be controversy. The one fighter would have to feel that they can win. If someone knocks someone out in 2 rounds, maybe there won't be a rematch. I think it's all about what happens in the ring. I think the interest in this fight is going to be off the scale. I think we saw it today. We sent out invites only 48 hours ago, and the pickup was exactly the same as Khan brought. It's got that big fight feel about it. Everyone is excited. I think just imagining these two, when you picture them actually getting in the ring after all this time, the clash of styles, as I say, the personalities, this is huge. This has rematch trilogy written all over it if the fight is good. But I think both fighters believe they're going to do the business well enough on September the 10th that there won't be a need for a rematch, and that's what's a beautiful thing about this fight.
You know, what I want to say is, people say like, UFC is taking over, or, you know, do you feel nervous about boxing, and particularly women's boxing? But you know what's so important for the sport of boxing is that you tell the stories of the fighters. That besides the fight taking place, that you tell the boxing fans where they came from, what they had to do to get here, where they live, how they live, the challenges in their lives, celebrations, all that stuff. And it's so important to tell the stories of these fighters. And I think there's no one better in the sport to tell the story than Sky. And because there's such a deep-rooted boxing culture here, and I really believe that their storytelling and the lead-ups to the fight is one of the things that is gonna make this event break through. And with the exposure that Sky has, really second to none in the UK, I believe, and with ESPN in the United States, we really believe that these are the best partners for us in terms of not only, more importantly than the business of it, it's about growing the sport and giving these two incredible athletes the platform to be seen, to be heard. 20 years from now, our job is that they become celebrities and that people know the good things that they did inside the ring, inside their sport, and that they can both walk with their heads up high for the sacrifice and the hard work they put into the sport of boxing. And it is events like this that encourage. There's a young Claressa Shields in the United States. I'm sure there's a young Savannah Marshall in the UK and in the Middle East and in Africa and in other parts of Europe that's going to see it and be like, you know what? Clarissa came from Flint, Michigan, one of the most toughest places in the United States. Look what she's accomplished. Look how great she is. She has a house. She has a nice car. She's making, she's fighting as the main event on the biggest TV platforms in the world. I can do it. If I believe in myself, if I work hard, I can do it. And to me, more than the fight itself, it's about that. It's about showing little kids all around the world this could be done. And we've seen throughout the history of the sport of boxing how boxing has served as an out for so many folks. And I'm very grateful that we have the platform for this to be as big as it should be.
Ben, just lastly on the fight, a lot of people were expecting this to be on box office. It's not on box office. From your end, what was the main reason why that's the case?
I think it's a brave decision. I think there was a lot of money to be made out of this fight. It's that big. We just made a decision, a long-term decision. These fights don't come around often at all in women's boxing. This is the first time I think this has happened in women's boxing in terms of the scale of the profile of these two fighters and this story. There was just too big an opportunity for the long-term health of the sport. I think this is going to be such an advert, not just for women's boxing, but for boxing. Boxing's always been seen as a little bit intimidating, a little bit like hard to always break into the mainstream. This fight and this event can do it, and in a big way. And I'm just very grateful for Sky getting behind me because it's a big money fight, and traditionally there's no way that this could have gone on a normal Sky Sports night, but it is. And I think that's part of what is going to make this truly, truly incredible.
And Ben, just whilst I've got you here, just a couple things away from that. You signed Joseph Parker. What's the latest with him? When can we expect him back in the ring?
He'll be out end of September, early October. Obviously, he wanted the Joe Joyce fight. He loves the Dillian Whyte fight. Potentially Otto Wallim, Martin Bacoli. The thing with Joseph is he wants to fight everyone. He's well positioned in WBC, well positioned in WBO. He will get his world title opportunity again. But he will fight anyone. You can see that from his resume.
So I don't mean to interrupt Ben, but one of the big boys, certainly Otto Whalen and Joseph Parker, to me is a very interesting fight. One of the big guys that came back into the picture is Jarrell Big Baby Miller, and we'd love for him to come back to the UK and now refreshed and experienced with lessons learned, participate in some big fights in the UK, maybe with Dillian Whyte. And Joseph Parker, Joe Joyce.
Do you consider Jerome Miller?
Look, he's a massive entertainer, will bring a massive audience. A lot of controversy surrounds that. I think he's still working that out. It's probably more up to the platforms than me. But listen, Jarrell Miller's a massive name, and he would be in big fights, and we would do big numbers. But it's beyond me. I think that, and there's been a lot of controversy around Jarrell. So let's see him come back, and let's see what the situation is.
So he's off suspension from Nevada, which has originally suspended him. He's been out of the ring for 3 years, and he's been tested voluntarily for a significant amount of time. He just had his fight in the end of June. He's going to fight again in the end of July, and well, I guess that sounds right. We'll play it by ear, but we certainly want the big fights. And he's been out of the ring for 3 years during COVID. And a significant chunk of his career, from speaking with him, feels like he's learned his lessons and made the right decisions going forward, and really wants to make the best of his last run in the heavyweight division. And the UK being such a home for heavyweight boxing obviously makes a lot of sense.
And Ben, obviously Dillian Whyte is a free agent at the moment. He's probably got off his left, right and centre, but are you confident that you could get him? Is that someone you're interested in?
Look, I don't think it was Dillian in this last fight against Tyson Fury. I've seen a different Dillian plenty of times. Sorry, it's so loud. I think he's still got a lot to offer, whether it's on Sky, BT, DAZN. I wish him all the best, and I have nothing else to say right now because I think he's still taking a bit of time out and he'll make his decision. I expect to see him back probably in October.
And finally, Hughie Fury, Michael Hunter. Is there a rescheduled date?
Late September. I've been told by Peter Hughie's definitely going to be ready for late September. We couldn't reschedule that fight. It's a WBA final eliminator. We've been assured by the WBA the winner will fight Daniel Dubois unless they vacate. So it's a massive fight and one we wanted to keep on track. And I expect that to be rescheduled for end of September, early October.
Okay, Ben Shalom, Dmitry Salita, thanks to Pro Boxing fans. Appreciate it.
Thank you.